It's about that time of day again. My name is Joseph. Thursday evening, September 21st. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter. We're covering crude oil, S&P, Nasdaq, gold, and euro tonight. Crude is bullish and trying to retest yesterday's high, but we got one big clue from today's high telling me that I need to see a completed rotation before I know exactly where to plan the trades for tomorrow. The S&P is range bound with a triangle pattern, telling me to focus on failures using the 2-try rule to fade the breakouts going back to that big round number at 2,500 on Friday. Nasdaq is bearish and trying to retest today's low, but this evening's closing price is a big clue that we might be developing into the same range the S&P has. Gold is bearish, the flag pattern, always a tricky price pattern, which tells me to look for an overshoot of the high combined with buyer failure in the battle zone for a move back to the low tomorrow. And of course, the euro is bullish, but after two major levels of resistance in our way, tell me to look for buying opportunities down in the battle zone or wait for a strong push higher for a retest of last week's high. Friday's session is just around the corner, which means we have a specific plan for wrapping up the week. And with the big ranges we're seeing today, we're expecting some big opportunities tomorrow in our trade room. Got another great newsletter in store for you guys and gals tonight. Plenty of big opportunities setting up for tomorrow. Before I jump in, though, and take a look at the strategy for Friday, don't forget the only place to watch the full-length version of this video is on our blog at sidewaysmarkets.com. If you're watching the video right now on our YouTube channel, not to worry, there's a link in the description of that YouTube video. Follow that link. Come join me here on the blog at Sideways Markets for the full-length version. While you're here, don't forget, join the mailing list. I'll send you an email every evening when that nightly newsletter goes live. Follow me on social, lower left-hand corner, StockTwits, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever your flavor of choice. Follow me on social media for all the posts, links, and updates throughout the week. And speaking of posts, links, and updates, don't forget to grab those charts. How easy is that? You can download all the charts from tonight's video, right, and have them ready for your trading session tomorrow, right where it says here to download today's charts. And make sure you grab that free pass. What are you waiting for? If you're not a member here at School of Trade, if you're not an advanced member here at School of Trade, grab that free pass. Come join me in the trade room as a guest. You're going to learn more with me on that free pass than you will anywhere else on the interwebs. I can guarantee you that. And if you have any questions, I'm always here to help. Hit me up on live support on the right-hand side of the website. Boy, it's been a great week here so far. It's been a great week. We survived the FOMC announcement yesterday, right? Had some really awesome movement, right, today. And, of course, tomorrow we're going into the end of the week, right? We'll be talking about the weekly wrap-up or the end of the week strategy. Let's talk about that for a second, right? Tomorrow's a Friday. There are a couple things we always like to make sure we address going into Friday's session. The first one is early in, early out, right? Early in, early out. This is definitely one of the most important aspects of a Friday morning. Remember, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, we see traders taking bigger risks. For whatever reason, traders take bigger risks at the end of the week. They're either way up on the week or way down on the week, right? Either trying to dig themselves out of a hole or they're playing with house money. No matter what happens here, we always look for Friday to be an early in, early out environment. Specifically, I look for my trading opportunities before 11 a.m. Eastern time, right? So early in, early out, anything after 11 a.m. on Friday, you're really going to have a good reason to do it. You're more than welcome to leave positions open into the close, right? But I always recommend get to those trades before 11 a.m. Now, the second thing we want to remember about a Friday is last week's open, high, low, close level. So that's going to be the next thing here you want to keep in mind for the end of the week session, right? So last week, right? So prior week, open, high, low, and close levels. And this, right, tonight, we have a couple markets that have them all at the same price, right? So really a fantastic example of how we're going to get a chance to use those prior week levels. And this isn't just for the prior week, right? At the end of the week, we look for last week's levels. At the end of the month, we look at last month's levels, right? So we'll be talking about this at the end of next week as well because we'll be finishing up the month of September. So early in, early out, right? 11 o'clock being that kind of pseudo cutoff tomorrow. And again, watch those prior week open, high, low, close levels. And oh, one more thing. Just so I address that here, I'm always talking about the Globex session. I'm not talking about the old pit session, right? That, Globex closes at 5 p.m. and then opens back up at 6 p.m., right? So that big 23-hour session, not to be confused with the regular trading hours, right? Or the old pit sessions, right? Those pits are closed, right? They're now museums now. So the bottom line is stick to the Globex session, 6 p.m. open, right, till 6 p.m. open till 5 p.m. close, right, Sunday through Friday. So that's our basic guide for tomorrow, early in, early out, and again, right, watch those prior week levels. Now that we have that information, let's take a quick look at the news on tomorrow's schedule. As you can see, right, just a peppering of news tomorrow coming out of London. If you're in the London session, right, London, of course, starts around 3 a.m. Eastern time and will go until about 7 a.m., sometimes a little bit later than 7 a.m. Eastern time, but that's the London session. And so if you're trading London tomorrow morning, we got 3 o'clock, 3:30, and 4 o'clock. Might be a little bit of a slow session tomorrow morning in London because we do have, right, the general election, right, in Germany on Sunday, right? So there might be a little bit of analysis paralysis to that. We'll know more once we get there. So don't be surprised, a little bit sluggish in the overnight London session, right? But we do have a bunch of news coming out, 3 o'clock, 3:30, and 4 o'clock. And then, of course, if you're with me tomorrow morning, we open up our trade room at 8 o'clock Eastern time. We get some great news to work with tomorrow morning. We got retail sales and CPI from Canada at 8:30, and of course, with the PMI composite flash at 9:45 a.m. Eastern time. So we got a bunch of news tomorrow, whether you're in London or you're with me tomorrow in the trade room at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Remember, though, early in, early out, and watch those prior week levels. Now, let's dig in. Let's grab some charts here. We'll start off tonight on crude oil. We'll go crude, S&P, a little bit of Nasdaq, gold, and we'll wrap up on the euro. Crude is bullish and trying to retest yesterday's high, but the reaction to today's high is a big clue, telling me to wait for more strength to the upside or look for a move back down to that battle zone tomorrow. One thing to keep an eye on tomorrow is the way this market responds to the high at 50.79. Because the buyers don't show us some proof on strength, this could easily tumble all the way back down to the low today and become a trading range for tomorrow. My goal is to see strength going higher to complete bull channel rotation. With that completed rotation, I can then buy the two-legged pullback tomorrow morning. If the bulls can't finish off this rotation, then I need to start thinking about buying as low as possible down in the battle zone or down at today's low. Now, of course, if you watched last night's newsletter, we talked about this in last night's newsletter. We had this big bull channel, right? And we talked about how I wanted to use that two-try, right, and that two-legged correction, right? So beautiful example here off of that high down into that battle zone, right, for a buy off that low. So if you followed the newsletter from last night, you were definitely prepared, right, for some easy buying opportunities down in that battle zone. Well, of course, the buyers, right, they got in long off of those lows earlier on this morning, and now here we are trying to push our way higher. We got a new bull channel in the short term, new bull channel, and of course, this high right there, that 50.79, right? That was today's high. Most important clue is what happened when we went back up and retested the high. As you can see, when price went back up to retest today's high, it was rejected off that high. What that basically tells us is that buyers didn't see value buying high like this. So here's the plan now, right? Basically, unless we can get some good rotation, think of this channel rotation here. Unless we can get some good rotation back up to those highs again, then I can buy the low, right? If I can get rotation to the high, then I can buy that low, right, with confidence. But if we can't get through this, then all of a sudden now this starts looking like a trading range, right? Low to high, high to low, and then low, right, high back down to that low. So this could easily end up all the way back down to the opposite side of that range, okay? So with that said, let's zoom in a little bit closer here right now, and it really all depends on, there's that measurement of top here, let me zoom back out here real quick, right? Buyers right now are trying to get back up to retest that high. Anytime we have a bull channel, look for that two-legged pullback, right, and that retest of the high. We talked about that in last night's newsletter. If they can get through that high, then we have that measured move waiting overhead, which is right there, right? So there's the larger target here for tomorrow. So just to give you a little bit of context here, right? First objective for the bulls is to get back to retest 51.11. The next objective, if they can push through it, right, will be up to that measured move at 51.45. This is crude we're talking about, so it's definitely possible, right, get a nice big run tomorrow. Now, with that said, zooming back in here now, big problem here is how we reacted to today's high. You can see that sellers, right, or you see buyers became sellers when they came back and reacted to it. So really what I'm concerned about right now is I'm concerned this market's going to continue to stall out at those highs, and we might find ourselves collapsing back down, right, and create this as a trading range. So here's the plan for tomorrow. I want to see the price go back up to retest the high, right? That's the objective. I always need to know who has control and where is their objective. So that's the objective. That's the easy part. Now I need to find that channel, right? Anytime we're trending market, look for channels and measured moves. The channel, what I really want to see now is I want to see us finish off that rotation, right? Really punch higher. We don't need to go all the way back to the high, but show me some more proof right now. If I can get that proof, then just like we saw the strategy earlier on from last night's newsletter, then I can go out and I can plan my entry with that two-legged pullback off the high from there. So that's one scenario we're looking for tomorrow. Show me some continued strength. Show me some continued strength, then I can go looking for, right, that pullback to buy off that high. So that's one scenario. Another scenario here is going to be if we see price retest, right, but unable to push through, right? It retests, but it can't push through. If it retests, very important, if it retests the high, right, retests 79 and can't push through, then this becomes a trading range. And of course, any time of range, I'm looking for one try, two try rule, right? Fade that move off the low and looking for a buy back up again. Now, another scenario, as you can see, right? Get a little bit more difficult here. Another scenario, we don't retest the high, right? If we don't retest the high, now I draw that trend line over. It's not a bear market, it's a bull market still, but now we go looking for a flag, right? Draw that across there, right? Use that trend line now. And the key is to really focus on buying as low as possible because, again, that falling resistance trend line, right, will get in our way. And then you have the fourth scenario, right? 1, 2, 3. My math is correct there, I believe, right? We've got the strong move up, right? Then the pull back. We have the double top and pull back to buy the battle zone, or we have the lower high flag pattern, right? And we're looking to buy off of that low, right? Okay, so there's three. Here's the fourth one. The fourth one now is we don't see any hold at the battle zone, right? Price pulls back, one try, two try, and now make a run lower, right? When that market starts taking off below that battle zone, we know where they're headed. They're headed back down to today's low at 50.07, and they'll probably slide all the way down to that big round number. The hard part's going to be do not sell down here. This is too low to sell, right? It's too low. You don't want to sell down there. And so whenever we find ourselves in a position where the only option, one try, two try, and go, the only option is to sell low, what do we look for? Yeah, we look for those traps, right? We look for those traps, right? So one try, two try down. Look for that trap, right? And then sell that trap back down, right? So again, you can see there's a lot going on here right now. The bulls have control. It all depends on, do we push through those highs? Do we double top at the 79? Do we fail to retest 79? And then if we do, we pull back to that battle zone, right? How do we respond in the battle zone? You know, that's going to be the key, right? Because we got that rising support trend line, that swing level there. The buyers should be able to hold that battle zone. But if they don't, again, it's all because of this right there, right? You can point your finger right at that high right there because a strong bull market would not have stopped at that high, right? It would have kept on going through that high. So I'm always trying to anticipate if I'm wrong, right? if I'm a buyer, where would they be looking to get in? What would they be trying to do? I put myself in the shoes of the opposite side of the market. So hopefully we'll see this price density for tomorrow, but it's a Friday, so we always are susceptible to a little bit of chop and slop, so we'll see how the day ends up tomorrow. Got a good plan though, right, for the crude. How about some S&P? Now, we don't see this very often, but the S&P has kind of a quadruple or maybe triple whammy here. Now, guys, of course, as we wrap up this week, right, we talk about our kind of weekly wrap-up, right, our weekly wrap-up strategy, right? Get to it early. Get out of there early tomorrow, right? Hopefully you've got something better to do with your time than sit in front of those computers all day long. I talk about this all the time in my trade room. It's so important that you develop some hobby or some skills or something that you enjoy outside of your trading career. It's good for everything. When you have a bad day, it's good to keep your confidence levels high. When you have a good day, it's good to have a reason to get out from behind that desk, right, and keep the good momentum going. So I always recommend, as much as I love the financial markets, as much as I love being a trader, as much as I love analyzing charts for you guys, right, it's always important to remember that there's a little bit more out there, right, besides trading, right, family, friends, good food, exercise, right, whatever, right? Music, whatever your favorite stuff to do is, find some time to do that, right? After 11:30, 12 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. And don't forget, watch those prior week levels, all right? Because they always tend to end as price magnets. Don't forget, we teach a lot of this strategy inside of our free trial here at School of Trade. Grab the free trial on the homepage of our website at schooloftrade.com. Join our beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes. You can learn more by following the links on the homepage of the website. And don't forget, I'm always here to help every step of the process. Hit me up on live support or call the toll-free number right in front of your nose. All right, guys, my name is Joseph. Great job this week. We got a big day tomorrow. We'll wrap up a great week, and we'll get ready, right, for what should be, right, another beautiful weekend. I'll see you guys same time, same place tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Don't forget, there's no newsletter on Friday nights. I'll see you guys back on Monday night for our next nightly newsletter. Be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.